Welcome to Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights, a podcast by coaches for coaches. Our guests share their hard-won wisdom to help you grow your coaching business and create a life of success. So get ready to unlock the blueprints to your success. Welcome, everyone, to our newest episode. We're thrilled to have you here today. And I'm also thrilled to introduce you to Gill Brabner. She is a Resound training and development coach. And I'm excited to hear more about that because I don't know what that is. So welcome to our show, Gill. Nice to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about what is Resound training and development? How did you become a coach? Give us the story and so we can follow your story.
Okay. Thank you. So Resound Training and Development is my business, and we are celebrating our 20th anniversary in October, which is very exciting. And so obviously throughout that period, we've done lots of work and had the privilege of working with some brilliant people from all walks of life, delivered lots of coaching hours, as you can imagine, and also supported people in their journey to become a coach, which is something I'm passionate about, because I think there's a lot you can do to support people to use the coaching skills, which we know are just so good in supporting people to make big changes, whether that's within their personal life or at work, and really creating better workplaces. I think that's something that we are very focused on.
I love that.
So in terms of my coaching journey, if I look back further than the business, I was delivering one-to-one work before I was a coach, because I think it's just in my nature to be a good listener. I think that goes all the way back to early childhood, and to have an empathic approach to people. I'm really interested in people and learning about their stories. I'm curious, and I think that's really stood me in good stead as a coach. But once I set the business up, and there at the time there was a lot of dialogue around how people were concerned that coaching as a profession was not regulated. People were able to set up in themselves without really having the support of professional bodies or qualifications. At the time I was looking to do my master's, and so I took a master's which incorporated something called coaching in the organisational context. And that really suited me because we were consulting to businesses. And so that gave me a really strong foundation in which to build my coaching practice. And we've really developed from there. And I've supported my team to become qualified coaches, and then to go out to our sort of wider client base. And a number of clients have become coaches through our training programs and so on. So yes, it's been quite a journey, and obviously you learn so much along the way. Your clients teach you, don't they? Every client brings you something, so it's a wonderful way to develop your practice, I think.
Yes, I should think coaching and training has changed a bit over 20 years.
Oh, yes, so much so.
Yeah, and even in the last 6 months with AI coming into play. But that's what I think makes it exciting and fun, is that it evolves.
Totally, yes. It's never static. There's always something to learn. And if you're a sort of lifelong learner, it's a great place to be, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your clients. Do you work mainly with big organizations? Do you work with one-person entrepreneurs? Do you do both?
Most of our work comes from larger organisations, but we have also worked with small businesses, and a number of people go through coach training that want to set up their own business as a coach, or they might be adding coaching to, say, for example, HR consultancy or another part of work. So we've got a coach who specialises in neurodiversity. We've got coaches that specialise in particular sectors, such as the education sector, hospitality, and so on. And one inspiring lady came to us because she wanted to add coaching to her marketing business, to support the conversations with clients around marketing. So yeah, people bring these skills into all types of work, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I have my own marketing agency. And so, yeah, it converts into coaching because you start talking to them not just about how they're generating leads, but how are they running their business? And it always gets into that bigger picture.
Yeah, and the coaching skills, asking those insightful questions, getting people to identify their own solutions. It's such a powerful way to work, isn't it? And has so much more impact than that old school, let's tell you what to do, advice giving. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love that you have an empathetic approach and that you're curious because I think that I've talked to a lot of coaches, and one thing that keeps coming up is that we need to be curious and we need to ask a lot of questions. And it's allowing the person that you're coaching to come to a solution or at least a direction that they want to go because it's really them. It's their life, it's their business, it's their whatever they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes it so powerful, is that the coaching is the vehicle for them to uncover that.
Mhm.
And it's such a privilege to witness that, isn't it, when you're working with somebody
Oh,
in a
it's so much
one-to-one
fun.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun when you get that aha moment. You could see it in their
Yeah.
eyes, like, oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
And some people come to coaching completely motivated and having a good understanding and wanting the work. And other people, particularly for my type of coaching within organizations, can be quite resistant in the beginning. Maybe they've been told that they need to address a particular area of performance that needs improving, and therefore they can be quite, it's on a scale from resistant all the way through to hostile around the coaching experience. And that's a real challenge. But it's when you bring somebody on board and they work through it and then get the results, my goodness, that's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, because if somebody forces you to go or says forcibly you need to do this, then
Yeah.
yeah, you feel a resistance. That totally makes sense. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
have no doubt that once, like you said, they go from where they are to where they ultimately end up, they go, oh, best thing ever. But tell us an example of maybe a client. We don't need any names or anything, but one that
Mm.
kind of came to you struggling and ended up walking away happy.
So I've got a couple of examples of people that were in quite different places but had that struggle. There was one coachee that was asked to attend coaching by her organisation, by the HR department. Her performance in all areas bar one was outstanding, but she had a conflict situation with one of her team members. And it got out of hand. She just wasn't able to step back really and think, oh no, I need to handle this differently. She was managing everybody with the same approach. And this one person wasn't having it. So yeah, she was very resistant to begin with, but that's why the sort of building rapport piece is so important, isn't it? Because I said to her, look, I know this is an uncomfortable situation for you to be in. I recognize that, but I'm on your side. I'm absolutely going to work alongside you. I want the best outcome for you. I want you to be able to really fly in your career in this organization. So I'm just asking that you work with me on this. Let's see where we get to. But remember, I'm on your side. And then we, yeah, work through some of her concerns, and gradually I got her to use a different approach with this particular member of the team. So we use a model we developed called empathy, care, action. So it's a way to structure a conversation, and it just works brilliantly, and it ensures that there's some compassion in the conversation. And I think sometimes that's just missing from workplaces. Workplaces can be so driven around key performance indicators, outputs, outcomes, the bottom line. It's that hard drive. And we forget sometimes to humanize all of that, that these are people with lives and struggles and their own issues. And we know we need to bring everybody on board with us, don't we? So really, I was using the model with her in order for her to use it with this particular team member. And then another client I worked with had already made it to that senior position. She's a chief nurse, and a chief nurse over here in the UK having overall responsibility for 3 large hospitals with lots of change. This was post-COVID, where everything's really a struggle in our NHS system. And she came to me because she wanted to have that dedicated time to think through some quite complex strategic issues and how she was going to work collaboratively with her other directors, all of whom had these huge portfolios of work to manage and all needing to really compete for that airtime in those board meetings, to compete around the budgets. So some challenging stuff. And she said to me at the end that she had felt through the sessions reconnected to her purpose, reconnected to her passion. She'd been in the health service forever and had come up from that sort of junior nurse role all the way up to a chief nurse. It's an amazing story. But along the way into those senior roles, people meet so many challenges, don't they, that they have to navigate. They build their resilience again and again. And she just lost that connection with why she was there. And through our discussions, she found it, which was just wonderful.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I could totally understand that, because you're always getting pressure from above and then you're getting feedback from below. So if you're managing people, you've got to try to motivate them, communicate with them, inspire them, but then you're also answering to the board of directors and people who want to see the bottom line happening. And yeah, that's a hard place to be.
Yeah. So it's just wonderful to support those people at those particular junctures in their careers and always bring the compassion to it for them.
Yeah.
And it is a time where they can unpack what's going on for them, and you can really take an interest in their point of view. And sometimes they don't get that anywhere else in a really hectic role, do they?
Yeah. So you've given me 2 examples of women. Do you work with mostly women, or is it like 50-50?
Mostly women. I have particularly senior women. I have worked with men that run their own businesses. I've worked for deliver coaching for some local politicians. That was interesting. In the health service, again, I remember one particular senior manager, and I always use this as a learning point for people that do their coach training with us, that there's one particular senior manager that and this was face-to-face coaching. So I arrived at his office and his stress levels were palpable. And I said to him, look, coaching is not the right support for you at this time. I can see that. I can see that the stress that you're currently experiencing. And I'd be very happy to come back in 6 months or whenever, when things are different. But it would not be appropriate for me to be running a coaching session with you right now. So I said, but I'm here and I'm happy to listen. It won't be coaching, but if you would just like to talk, then I'm happy to listen.
How did he respond to that?
He said, you're absolutely right. He said, you're the first person who's actually voiced it, who said it to me, apart from my wife. And then he just offloaded big time. And he said, I don't know where to turn. The organisation was going through this massive change process, and they just added more and more work to him. And just by listening, and then I said, what are you going to do? Or have you got some thoughts around what you might do? And he said, yes, I have. And I'm going to take action. Then I had this moment where it was, what do I do now? Do I go back to the organisation and say, I'm concerned about this person? Or do I trust that he has agency and that he will take action for himself? And I always present it as a dilemma to coaches that we train, and they always work through it. And then they say, well, what did you do? What did you do?
We need to know what you did.
Yes. I said, it took a lot of reflection, but I decided to step back and allow him to manage it himself. And they go, oh, but no, you should have gone to HR and you should have done this. And I said, but no, that's not that. To me, that would have been outside of my role, and I'd asked him those questions. I did, however, get the chance to meet him again 3 months down the line. So I did find out what happened. And I've got to say, he was in such a better place by then. So I said to him, what happened after I left that day? And he said, I went straight to the HR director and I said to her, the amount of work I've been given, it's not doable. No one could do this, and it's making me ill. And she took a whole chunk of it away. So
Wow.
he went back. He still had a huge amount of responsibility within the organisation, but they had just overloaded him as they merged two organisations together.
Yeah, but I bet
Um,
that just that one session with you was, like you said, he needed someone outside his environment just to say, here's all the things that are on my mind and all these things that are happening to me. And sometimes just doing that relieves a
yeah,
little bit and clarifies what you really want.
yeah, and that he needed to do something.
Yep. It's all ultimately it was down to him. Wow, that's
Mm,
fantastic. So you said you do coaching, but then you also do coach training. So
yeah.
are those
Yeah.
kind of two different things?
So we provide one-to-one coaching for people, but we also have a qualification we run for people interested in becoming a coach. That's ILM level 5. Here in the UK, that's the Institute of Leadership and Management. It's a level 5, which is the equivalent of 1 year of a university degree program. And that's quite a comprehensive program. It takes most people 12 to 18 months to complete.
Mhm.
And they have to do 18 hours of coaching practice, which have to be validated, and a lot of learning from those hours, and a lot of reading. They have to write essays. So yeah, it's quite a substantial program. But we also short courses for people that are interested in the coaching skills and bringing those into their, say, management style, or maybe into a small business for team leaders. So we do some sort of short programs like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Do you do coaching for, let's say, a team do you do sales coaching as well?
No, we don't do sales
Okay.
coaching. No,
Okay.
but yeah, really important area of work though, because yeah, sales teams need that support. So I know
Yeah.
people who do that. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a different
really.
skill though, don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything new or next that's coming up for you or for your business, or are you just growing and ticking along as you should?
Yeah, we've recently launched our YouTube channel. So we have quite a lot of training videos. And so we've just very recently put all of those freely available onto YouTube. And we do use those in some of our coaching programs. Yeah, I'd encourage your listeners to go and have a look. And if there's anything they want to use in their programs, they're free to do. And we're doing more work around our model for compassionate work, which is empathy, care, action, as I mentioned, and supporting people to just have more effective conversations and take a compassionate approach, which I really think we all need at the moment at work and the rest of our lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people can't always achieve their potential if they don't feel supported and they don't quite know how to get there. And so a
Yeah.
coach like you or someone on your team is somebody who can say, it just help them be directed and feel heard and open up. Well, what is next for you? What do you really want?
Yeah, and I just love that strengths-based approach as well, getting people to really identify where their strengths are and to sort of lean into that and then build everything out from there.
Wonderful. We will
Yeah.
put the link to your YouTube channel in the show notes. Is there any other way that you would like people to reach out to you if they wanted to inquire about your services?
So please visit our website, which is resoundtraining.co.uk, and you'll see all of our services there, and you can contact us directly from the website. We respond to everybody. So if you have any questions or you'd like more information about the model for compassion that we've developed, I'd be delighted to hear from your viewers. And yeah, please get in touch, because the more conversations we have around having better conversations and supporting people, the more impact we're all going to make.
Yes, absolutely. So, one last question we ask all of our guests. If you could provide the world one tip to make it a better place, what would that be?
I think it is about being more compassionate and finding out what really matters to people. Because it's so easy to assume that what matters to us is what matters to everyone else. But if we just ask that question, what really matters to you right now? Oh my goodness, the wonderful conversations you can have with people. What matters to you right now? We did a piece of research after COVID, going out to senior people in organisations, and we said, what matters to you? And they gave us this sort of organisational perspective. And then we said, what really matters to you right now? Oh no, that gave us a whole different...
A little different than the mission statement for the business, right?
Yeah. So I'd say try it. See what response you get. What really matters to you right now?
I love that. Ah, what a wonderful way to end. We appreciate you and what you're doing in the world and how you're helping people. So thank you. And how you're compassionately based, if you will.
Oh.
So Jill, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show. Thanks for joining us today on Blueprints for Brilliance Coaching Insights. We hope you're leaving this episode with inspiration to take your coaching business and your life to the next level. If you found value in this episode, we would love it if you would subscribe and share it with someone else who you think might benefit from hearing it. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next episode.